I was thinking about stalkers this morning, of all random shit to think about. And I don't have a stalker right now, at least not that I'm aware of. I do feel paranoid about going outside and walking around, and I get suspicious of anybody that's walking behind me, but that's a totally different thing. Yeah, no, I don't know of any stalkers I have now, but I have had stalkers in the past. Interesting. Well, actually, it wasn't really interesting. It was just really annoying and kind of terrifying. The first stalker that I had, I received in 2014. I was working at Barnes & Noble in Minnesota at the time. And this guy, 2014, how old was I in 2014? I don't even know how old I was. I'll just say guy because, whatever. This guy singled me out. Oh my god. Car, I'm busy. Sorry, living next to a busy road is just amazing. He singled me out and he started asking me like a lot of questions about books, and I helped him find some stuff, and he wanted to talk, and I talked a little bit with him, and that was that. And I didn't get any creepy vibes or anything. I was more just annoyed because when I was working for Barnes & Noble, I was in charge of a couple sections in the store, so I was in charge of putting product on the floor, and he was keeping me from doing my job. And it was kind of frustrating, but I didn't want to be rude, so I smiled and was nice. And he went away after a while. And I came back the next day for my shift, and there he was again in the cafe area, because Barnes & Nobles have those cafe areas. And I didn't think too much of it. I was like, oh, he's just probably a student like I am, and he's just doing his work at the cafe because it's convenient, and you can get food and you can get free Wi-Fi and yada yada yada, whatever. And I didn't remember his name, but he called me out specifically and started following me around the store as I was trying to do my work. And I thought he was just over friendly, and I did what I regret doing, which was ignoring the red flags that were going off in my head and just, being nice and smiling along with it. And then just like after an hour, he left. If you get red flags about somebody, you really should reach out for help, especially if you're at work, because at work, you should not be scared to be at work. If you have any problems whatsoever, you should be talking with your manager or your boss or something, because work needs to be a place where it's safe for you to be. And I was getting kind of creeped out by this guy. I had a few days off, and I think it was like 3 or 4 days, and I went back, and there this guy was again, and he says, "Oh, Kat, you were gone for so long. I came back every day and you weren't here. What were you doing?" And I was like, oh my gosh, this guy is being really, really fucking creepy. Oh no. And I never had this experience before, and I was just kind of drowning in despair. I was like, what have I done? What can I do? And I took it upon myself to say that it was my fault that this had happened, which it wasn't my fault that this had happened. It wasn't my fault at all. And I wish I could go back in time and be like, no, you're wrong. This is not your fault, and you should really seek some help for it. And I decided to not seek help for it, and it just kind of progressively got worse and worse, where he would bother me, or he would like touch my shoulder or something, and he would like come every single day, and he would lament when I wasn't there, and he started asking my coworkers when I was gonna like show up at the store, and it was really, really not okay. my manager noticed that this was happening, and he pulled me aside and he said, you know, what's the deal with this guy who keeps on asking about your schedule and stuff? This is not normal. What's up with this? And so I finally told him about everything that was happening, and the manager kicked him out of the store and said, I'm sorry, you're not allowed back because you're harassing, you know, one of my employees. And it had taken about maybe 2 months of this stalkerish behavior before finally I told somebody about it. And that really was pretty dangerous. I really should have been more upfront with other people. Funnily enough, that same year that he got kicked out of the store, I had to quit my job at Barnes & Noble because they don't have any full-time positions except for managers. And when you don't have full-time position, you don't have any health coverage or anything like that. And I needed to find a job that was full-time, paid better, and had some benefits. So I left that job even though I really enjoyed working at the Barnes & Noble. I think it's one of my more favorite places to work, and a place where I felt maybe the most competent at work. I'm not sure, but the people were really great, and I kind of missed that job. Anyway, so I left and I got a position at Half Price Books. And it was going really great. You know, I worked there for like a year and a half. Everything was fine. I really, really, really hated some certain aspects. And if people are curious about what those aspects are, let me know. We can talk about it. I no longer work for them, and I probably will never work for them again. Not because it was so bad, but just because I would need something that pays a little better. Anyway, plus some certain aspects of the job that I really did not enjoy. Anyway, but working there was really, really great until one day a familiar face came into the store. And it was the guy from Barnes & Noble. And I was working in one of the sections of the store. I was putting books on the shelf. And I hear my name, and I turn around, and it's this guy. And I seriously don't remember his name at all. I just remember my heart, like, dropping into my feet and my stomach, like, flying up to my nose. It was horrible. And I started, panicking a little bit, and it was an awful experience. And he got like really close to me, like he kind of backed me into a corner and started talking about how he missed our conversations and how he missed seeing my pretty face and what have I been doing and where have I been and like what's been going on and yada yada yada, where do you live? And it was, well, horrible. I just wanted to puke the whole time, and I avoided his questions, and I finally was able to like scoot around him and get into the back room, where I immediately started to like break down in tears because this guy had found me. And one of the managers came up and she's like, "Why are you crying?" And I told her everything, and then she told the store manager, and the store manager made the guy leave. But this guy was persistent. He called the store, and I just happened to be on the phone line at that time, and he says, "Oh, I caught you on phone. Oh, isn't that crazy? Ha 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 ha. Let's talk some more." And I remember just being like, I hung up on him. And I went to the store manager and I was like, "We're not going to have this happen again where I need to like switch jobs or something." So I went to the manager and I said, "He's calling the store now. What do I do?" And the next time that there was a phone call, the store manager picked up and banned the guy from coming into the store ever again. And I can't tell you the relief that I felt, and just the feeling of finally being able to breathe. You know, I was so worried that this guy was going to figure out what car was mine, was going to follow me home, was going to show up at my house, was going to start showing up at like my grocery store that I go to. It was awful. And I guess I can quickly talk about the other one. I actually have 2 stalkers. Isn't that fun? I have 2 of them. One of them was that guy, and luckily I've never seen him ever again, which is really great. And now that I've moved 1,400 miles away, I will never see him ever again, and that is a very comforting notion. The second guy that I had a problem with was actually one of my coworkers at Half Price Books. It was during maybe like my last year that I worked there. They hired this new guy, and right away he just would stare at me, and it was so unnerving. And I was like, well, he's new, maybe, I don't know. I didn't want to make any assumptions. I don't know. But he was really kind of creepy, and yeah, he was just kind of creepy, and he would make really weird offhand remarks like, oh wow, you're strong as a firehouse ant, or something like that, when I was carrying books around. I was like, what the fuck? Okay. Super weird, dude. And this went on for a little while, and then I started receiving items on my shelf in the back room, because each employee has a shelf where they can like put their bags and stuff or whatever, and things started popping up on my shelf with notes from him, and I got like this queasy feeling in my stomach again. But I pushed it aside. I was like, you know, he's just trying to make friends. Maybe he's just really, really fucking awkward. I'll leave it alone. Well, I should not have left it alone, because he was really fucking creepy. Oh my gosh. Remarks, touching, following, gift giving that was not welcomed. And then finally one day he had accidentally left like a journal, because he always carried around this book with him that he would write in, and he left it in the back room. And one of my coworkers was like, what is this? And opened up and read something in it that was apparently so intense that she brought it up to the store manager. And then the district manager came in, and they pulled me into the manager's office, and they're like, so we need to talk about this guy. We found this inside of this journal that he's been keeping, and we want to know more. So I spilled my guts again about everything, and apparently what was inside this book was so bad that they fired him. And to this day, I still don't know what was in that book. There's a handful of like coworkers at that time that knew what was inside the book, because they told each other. But I never got to figure out what it was, and I've never asked. You know, I'm really worried it was like, you know, he wanted to like rip my skin off and wear it on his face or something. You know, something really, really creepy and devious. I don't know. But knowing that, well, you know what? No. It's not my fault that that happened either. It's not my fault that both those things happened. It just was 2 experiences that I did not seek help right away with. So I guess in closing, I'll say, if you ever have a problem or something like that happen to yourself, please seek out help right away. You never know what's going to happen. You never know if something's going to escalate. And you can find yourself in pretty dangerous situations if you let things go on for too long. Anyways, that was on my mind this week, and I hope to see y'all again next week. Okay, bye!